Good evening traders, it's Simon at Kairos Capital Markets with the weekly review of Aussie dollar pound yen. So we're starting the DXY as usual. It's the first review of the year, weekly review of the year. Last week I only did the predictions for the whole entire year on each pair. That was on Euro, Dollar, Aussie dollar and pound yen. So I did 3 predictions for these on. But at the moment we're going back to normal now. So on the DXY, we've got this semi-double bottom happening here now as well. My only concern about this double bottom at the moment is the weekly chart, where it did break down quite a lot, considerable amount more than it did here. So it's not really what you call a true double bottom on the weekly, but the day does show you a double bottom. So there is going to be some buying interest here on the dollar there is at the moment. Personally myself, I've already started buying the dollar on the euro dollar, so obviously going short euro dollar already, so adding into a position already. But they're just very long term, let them develop type style trades, so just set and forget type things. But we'll go for that later on. So really this week, what I'm concerned with, we may just drift lower. Ideally I don't think we will, but there's always a possibility we could. So if you are going dollar long pairs on anything, just be a little bit wary that may happen. The US dollar index, so the more evenly weighted one as well here, did stop at 11,850, and 11,850 has been key in the past quite a few times. So you may find that the evenly weighted dollar index is what's going to cause it to power up as well. So you do have some support here, and NFP didn't really rock the market too much against the dollar as well. So you've got a bit of positivity there. You have. So what does it look like on other pairs? And this is where my problem comes into it now. So Aussie dollar daily chart. This looks fantastic in all fairness. It looks like a nice trade. You got the test here, you got a bit there. You know, 787 looks like a key support level. It does on the daily, but then when you come out to here, it's only happened in 2015. So it's only very recent data there. And if you then break down to the weekly chart, this is where my concern comes in. This is really, honestly, what I don't like. Is this weekly chart is in the middle of nowhere. There's no supporting evidence whatsoever to take this short right now. So if this was to go short, it would be, I think it will probably create another touch on that 787 level to confirm that level again. And you've got needs to see some bearish price action on the intraday. So if I just drop to the intraday for you guys quickly. Here's what I've drawn up earlier. So hold on a second, sorry guys, new screen, you know it's like, there we are, it's better, put that into perspective. So on the 4-hour chart you can say there is this double top pattern here happening now, but to me it's not the best in the world just yet. And like I said, although it does look bearish, I think it's more of a trap rather than anything else there. I just don't trust it. If you look on the 1-hour chart, we've not changed trend at all here. The 1-hour 50 holds price all the time. This upward sloping trend line really is also the key catalyst here. So I'm not convinced this is the next leg down on this trade just yet. If it is, it's going to develop into something quite major, I suppose. And you're going to have to just, if you took a trade there, it's more of a gamble. I believe that's a complete bull trend here at the moment. It is trend upwards. There is no trend change. There's no lower low or lower high. It's the support on this trend line and the 1hour 50 is quite strong there. So I'm not interested at all in this. Maybe a breakdown like this, and then some form of pullback to around this area here somewhere. That would make it interesting, because you put a clean lower low in, which means a trend change is actually starting to happen. Then you put a lower high in. But until that point, for me, this is why I'm not convinced that this daily chart is actually going to change trend. Because for this to change trend, you need to see the trend change on the lower time frames, and that's not happened at all yet. So it's definitely, for me, wait on my hands and just see this one out for the moment. If we do move lower from here, this is a clear clean lower high in perspective to everything else. So from the extreme highs to the extreme lows, that's a beautiful 618 pullback there. That would be, so that would actually define the whole entire trend change on this whole area here, which then means this would most likely then break down. It would. So if we do see the trend change, I do believe it will be the move that will break us down nicely. We are in some form of wedge slash flag type scenario, and it will break down below the 70 overall. It would, as I predict on my predictions. So pound yen. Let's go to pound yen. So on the weekly chart, it moved up and it's grinded up higher and higher and higher. There's not much really happening here. We're a nice bullish candle from last week. So what I'm looking for now, in all fairness, is actually a break and retest of this box here. This is the zone here between 147.5 and 152. As you can see, you've got multiple touches at the top, multiple touches at the bottom. But what I want you to know is this upward sloping trend line, the daily 50 EMA and the key level of 1.152 would really be nice to see a test of that. Going forward though, there's nothing really interesting to look at. It's just moved upwards. It does need a breather. If you look at, for example, a Fibonacci pullback, if it pulled back now and test that area, you would be at the 382 level as well on the intraday chart. So you have got a good opportunity coming up there if it does pull back nicely. If it doesn't pull back, I wouldn't be tempted to get on this, because you've moved. If you look how many days it's moved up in a row now, it is messy. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You've got almost 3 to 4 weeks worth of movement going upwards there. It does need a pullback. It's not been strong, it's not been clean. So for me personally, I'd just like to wait this one out. I would as well wait for the pullback, see some value in jumping on there. Now euro dollar is something a lot of people want to sell. I've actually started my short positions already. I'll show you where I've got mine in at. It was at the very top of the trade. It was, I'll show you the 4-hour chart. I got in around this area here. I like the way the volume was, I like the way everything was setting up there, and I was happy to put my stop up at 1.214. That's where my stop is now. So I've got a clear, defined stop there. I feel that if you just zoom out here for a minute, I'm just going to put a line where my stop is. As you can see, it's miles above this left-hand side head and shoulder pattern. So that's where my stop on this black line here. If you put where the actual line is now, currently at the moment, you draw it there like that, and you zoom across, it has made a double top there. So for me personally, I would expect to go to the downside. And if you notice how here as well, volume has started picking up here as well. Some selling volume has started picking up. So a breakdown of the 4-hour 50 MA is what I'd like to see next on this chart, just to continue on forward, and we'll just see how it develops from there. It's a long-term trade for me. It's a safe stop. I know some people don't like 70 pip stops, 100 pip stops in these trades, but sometimes you put your stop where it's safe and you want to win money, you do the correct thing. So what made me look at that? So I like the weekly here. So the weekly started forming this higher test here. It was quite nice. Like I said, I saw the potential on the lower time frames to enter there, and it's a good move to take a little bit of risk there. It is, you know, it's only a small risk I'm taking. For the reward itself, the reward, I mean, 1055 is what my first target would really be in this one as a long-term trade. Obviously you got 1.14 that would need to be broken as well, so we'll see how this trade does develop. But 1055 would really be my ideal target, and if we then could lock in some profit halfway down, I might shut half it down and actually move on further. So going forward this week, what this has to do now, really, this has to change trend truly on the 4-hour chart. This is the date at the moment, so you want to see some form of trend change, and the trend change will come a break and retest of 1.2. So with the price, just delete this one for you quickly, guys. If price breaks down here, then comes back up to test the 1.12 area, you've got a nice clean break and retest where this pattern here on the left was also formed as well. There'll be a double top, break and retest. That's a beautiful patterns. You've got double top on the 4-hour chart, double top on the daily, that there, a trend change as well. That'd be a nice strong trade, and that's what I'm waiting for really. And that also, like I said, coincides with the Aussie dollar trade, where if you wait a couple of days for this, I think you'll be rewarded amply on that one, and that's what I'm waiting for as well. Okay guys, I hope you had a good Christmas and a happy New Year, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.